What is going on, everyone? It is Monday night, Thanksgiving week. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you. It's 9:30. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk some weather. It's been a wild weekend, not weather-wise, but from what we've all seen on social media, and I know a lot of people, by way of chat, knows what I'm about to talk about. They've seen it for themselves, and we're going to break down why we are not expecting a hurricane to make landfall in the state of Florida during the first week of December. We're talking about a tropical threat in December, not because meteorologically it is a possibility this year. It's because people going wild with wild model runs. And we're going to talk all about that. My apologies already if I get a little feisty before my December 1st kind of bow on hurricane season. Then we are going to get into Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving is going to look a little bit different and feel a little bit different in the state of Florida when compared to the last about 10-ish days, give or take. We were talking last week that it was all going to depend upon the timing of a front. And there were still questions. I was uncertain if the front was going to come through during the middle of the day on Thanksgiving or during the middle of the day on Black Friday. It is looking increasingly likely that we are going to get the front on Thanksgiving. That means I think it's going to be a little cooler, and it may also be gray. Rain chances are there. It's not going to be too crazy, though, in terms of any kind of rainfall. We are going to be on the drier side on Thanksgiving. I think it's just going to look a little gray. We're going to take a look at that coming up in a few minutes. I would like to start with this. This is the tropical outlook, the official tropical outlook from the National Hurricane Center. No new development expected over the next 7 days. Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, we got a couple of cirrus clouds over here by Central America. Maybe a little downpour over Nicaragua, Honduras. A couple of downpours closer to Costa Rica, Panama. A couple of cirrus clouds out over the Caribbean. A little junk out here. There is nothing even remotely close to producing a thunderstorm, let alone a bona fide tropical system. Now, the dates in question was the first week of December, so we're a little bit further out. So we're going to look at that as well coming up in just 1 second. For those that are unclear of what happened, forgive me. I'm going to show you this run just for context so that we can bring us into the present in terms of the model run here to just show you how egregious the posts on social media were this weekend. Okay? So here we go. Again, forgive me because I'm not one to do this. This was the GFS, okay? And everyone that's been hanging out with me and watching the show should know that, okay, if the GFS shows something a little crazy and it's tropical related, you should probably throw it out until you get other models coming online, not plaster it all over social media. So here we go. This was from Saturday night. I think, let me look, November 23rd. Yeah, this is Saturday night's run. It has a hurricane in the Big Bend for Friday, December 5th. Okay. It's not going to happen. Okay. I'm just showing you this for that. I'm going to show you the latest model run now. This is the current model run. Ready? It's not there. It's not there. It's completely gone. Dropped out of everywhere. So the GFS itself that had the phantom storm there is gone. Now, what did give the GFS a little bit of street cred for like 6 to 12 hours was the Google DeepMind AI model. It was one of the best performing models we've had so far this hurricane season, and about a half a dozen members did come back online. It did show something developing in the Western Caribbean, and it showed it lifting into the Gulf, and some of them coming to Florida. Okay, that was one run of the ensembles, and by the way, there are 50 members of the Google DeepMind AI. Only about 6 of them, give or take, were on. That's a pretty low percentage to go crazy and plaster it all over social media and get people in a tizzy that they're going to have to worry about the Christmas inflatables that are up. It's not happening. Okay, so there's the GFS. Would you guys, show of hands, would you guys like to see the current run of the Google DeepMind AI? Because I would bet my life savings that you're not going to see it posted anywhere online. Because you know what? Drum roll, please. There it is. 0 members are now online when it comes to any kind of tropical development in the Western Caribbean or Gulf through December 7th now. Remember that GFS run that I showed you was through December 5th. That's when it had its phantom storm. It's just not there. It's not happening. It never was. It's extremely, extremely rare. I mean, it's borderline unprecedented to get anything, tropical storm or hurricane, to make landfall in the state of Florida, in the United States, in the month of December. The water is warm enough. Let's take a look at that real quick before we get into my last point, and then we can focus on Thanksgiving. This is wild, guys. Sea surface temperature anomalies, it's pretty warm, okay? So we still have it juiced out in the central and western Gulf. Certainly the Caribbean, it's above average. Even off the coast of Florida, it's above average relative to where it should be this time of the year. That water, though, is not that deep, not that deeply warm. We still have the loop current. That's this red and orange color here. So if something were to get going, there's certainly enough fuel. Closer to land, though, the color table drops out, meaning that we don't have a lot of tropical fuel. The sea surface temperature may be above normal, but it's not deeply warm thanks to those bunches of cold fronts that we've been talking about really since really since Halloween, when we had the coolest Halloween since 1993. So let's take the temperature a little bit, and I'm going to show you here where it's really warm is where the Gulf Stream is, okay, and where the loop current is. That's where, I mean, in the peak of hurricane season, where these things can go nuts a little bit, this is the loop current. You can kind of see it if you look very, very closely. Don't get too close to hurt your eyes, though. Where we have anywhere in the low to mid 80s, that little snake thing, that little loop that goes through the Florida Straits, that's the loop current going into the Gulf Stream, okay? But look, even in the warm anomalies, upper 70s, closer to Florida, lower 70s, closer to Louisiana, mid to upper 70s. While it's above normal, really not going to support much once it gets into the Gulf. I think one thing the AI model forgot is that it's December, and what do we have more of in the month of December? What do we have more of in the month of December? Wind shear. We have wind shear. Look at this. This is the wind shear forecast. This is from when the GFS was still showing a little something. So let me take this back just a little bit, and you can kind of see there's the low. Again, I don't even think we're getting anything in the Western Caribbean, to be clear. There it is. All right, there's like a little opening here. That's December 2nd. But by the time anything comes up, all right, we got some answers in the chat. Wind shear and cold fronts. Look at that. This red. Bam. Anything, I dare it, to try to lift out of the Caribbean, it would be torn apart. And actually, I would like for something like that to happen, because that means that we would get some beneficial rain to the state of Florida if something lifted up like that. It wouldn't stand anything. Again, I don't care how strong a hurricane is, it will never beat a synoptic scale, large scale trough at all. So there you go. Nothing happening. There's a reason. Just like I always say, Finding Nemo, the sharks, they're always like, fish are friends, not food. Models are guidance, not gospel. Models are guidance, not gospel. And when they spit some things out, it is the job of the meteorologist to determine if it is credible or if it's out to lunch. And I made a post on my Facebook page immediately that it wasn't going to happen. Okay, there's a difference between, and there are weather enthusiasts out there, and I applaud anybody that loves the weather and like to post about it. But when you put Florida on alert for a hurricane in December, and you happen to have tens of thousands of followers, like Spider-Man, I'm quoting movies tonight, with great power comes great responsibility. And the comments on those pages, people took that to gospel, and it's not cool. It's not right. And that's the difference between somebody trying to make money off of your clicks versus what we do here at News 6 and here on this show is to separate the trash from the truth, give it to you scientifically, give it to you with sound meteorology, and that's our job, to find out if what the model's spitting out is plausible or not. And in this case, it was not. By the way, before we get into some of the Thanksgiving stuff, 1925, the only storm to make landfall. What do you know? It wasn't Florida. That was a tropical storm back in 1925 on December 1st. So barely into December. Barely into December. It's not happening. All right. Thanks for sitting through that, guys. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I get a little fiery, but it's not cool because I do know some people get freaked out when you see a hurricane days after Thanksgiving. You're getting ready for Christmas. It's just, I mean, those posts went viral. Those posts went viral. There's no other way to say it. All right. In just 3 minutes, we're going to transition out of the tropical stuff, and we are going to get all into Thanksgiving. Some big time changes rolling down the pipeline. I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. I have to read some of the comments. I just caught a glimpse of a couple, but we're going to break things down. 3 minutes. Alrighty, I know Zachary mentioned I hate talking about tropical stuff in December. I was trying to find your comment on the tropical, on the, geez, now I have tropical on my mind, on the comment grabber thing so I can pull it over to show, because it's a good question. And Zachary asked about having, isn't there another kind of round of rising motion moving through by the end of December? And the answer to that is yes. But the answer to that, there's if there was a channel that said, "Oh my goodness, we have to look at the MJO sliding through in the end of December and we might get something," they should be banned for life because it's not happening. By that point, we are so far removed from the bounds of any kind of tropical activity. And yes, something can spin up, but at that point, we're back into like North Atlantic slop season. Um, it's just it's crazy. So if somebody said that, it's just it's out of control. Um, it's I literally don't have the brain capacity to fathom what some people are trying to say and just trying to hang on. I use the Mean Girl reference about trying to make fetch happen. If somebody's trying to make an impactful U.S. hurricane happen, let it go. Let it go. It's not happening. Be happy that we got out of this one pretty much unscathed, with the exception of Chantal flooding our friends in the Carolinas. But no hurricane landfalls. And that's going to likely be, I mean, it will be no hurricane landfalls in the U.S. since 2015. So that's pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. Okay. So high temperatures tomorrow. There you go. Let me get now. I'm all discombobulated now. Let me get back over to the weather interface here. Low to mid 80s tomorrow. It's still going to be pretty warm. Once we get to Wednesday, that front gets close. These are the high temperatures on Wednesday, 70s and 80s for your plans. And then after that, that's when things change. We're focused on the blue color here. The blue color represents we're going to have below normal temperatures. This is for Wednesday, the 26th. Anywhere there's red. So if you're traveling maybe to New York, to DC, to Philly, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Cleveland, Chicago, even above normal, at least to start. But then watch the cold start to kind of bleed down a little bit. That's the blue. These are the temperature anomalies. We're going to put some numbers to these colors in just 1 second. That's going to be Friday. I think by the time you wake up on Black Friday, it's going to be pretty chilly. I'm talking 40s through most of Central Florida, and I think 30s in the Panhandle. So we're going to have kind of a short fuse cold blast from Thanksgiving night down into Black Friday. So it's going to be feeling nice and festive. I'm excited about it. It's going to be feeling good. Some hot chocolate sipping weather by the time we get into Friday. If you're maybe holding out to put Christmas decorations up until the end of Thanksgiving, until Thanksgiving's over. So there you go. 7 o'clock on Friday morning, that colder air kind of seeps in. I think 30s and 40s. We do get our sunshine back, though. I think it's going to be a cloudy Thanksgiving. Let me back up this model real quick. I do think it's going to be a cloudy Thanksgiving. So this is Thursday morning. Panhandle exception. So there's 11 o'clock on Thanksgiving morning. A stray shower is possible through Central Florida, also through Northern Florida. That's going to be earlier in the day. So turkey trots in Jacksonville to Panama City should be great. Maybe stray shower from Ocala to DeLand to Orlando. Lunchtime looking pretty good. And then there is the clouds that stick around, I think, for a lot of Central and South Florida. So it should be a gray Thanksgiving. It's going to look and feel different. That's how I keep on describing it. Like when you wake up on Thanksgiving morning, it's going to be, I think, gray, maybe a couple of showers in the mix, and cooler. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware, because last week, again, there was a little uncertainty whether the front was coming through on Thanksgiving or Black Friday. I do think it's coming in on Thanksgiving. Alrighty, I have to get my second break in as I am getting ready to lose my voice. This is going to be great for News 6 at 10 and 11, so tune in for that to see the over-under on how many minutes I keep my voice thanks to the rant. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from if you have any questions. I see we have some new comments. I'm going to read those right now. I'm going to pull those over when we come back in 3 minutes. Stick with me. I'll see you then. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for listening to the rant. Alrighty, guys, we are about to wrap this up on a Monday. I see a lot of the chat talking about the rainfall deficit, and I have a pretty cool map here that we can quickly zip around the state and take a look at the estimated deficit. These are not going to be, these are not ground truth. So if it's off by a couple of tenths of an inch or anything like that, this is all going to be estimated, the deficit for the year. Based on climatology and then based on what the radar estimates as well. We can take a closer look at some of the airport climo sites. Maybe on this Thursday is Thanksgiving. Maybe next Thursday when that next drought monitor comes out. I'm going to make a note of that. We'll add Jacksonville, we'll add Fort Myers to that. So I'm just going to make a list right here. And we can look at that stuff because one of the concerning things, and Marky D 48, I completely agree with the nonsense stuff on YouTube predicting the stuff. It's all lie. It's beyond frustrating. But also we mentioned there were a brush fire south of Stewart today. It's not the greatest that we're already dealing with drought and brush fire conditions when we've just started the dry season. To answer Melissa's question, there could be a couple of showers in New Smyrna Beach on Thursday. I just don't think it's going to be enough to really help anything out. Look at the deficit that we have going on. This is for the year. In the Panhandle, where there is an extreme drought, in even exceptional drought, that's the highest it goes, anywhere from 24 inches below normal for the year. On the Gulf Coast of Florida, also the kind of the same, anywhere from 15 to 25 inches below normal. Around Jacksonville, again, right in town, some places are above. Again, it depends upon where some of those downpours can get in there. But you see on the west side of town, the deficit, again, just crazy, anywhere from 2 to 24 inches below normal. Then also in Southeast Florida, we're getting ourselves into a problem where we have, gosh, it likes that 24 number. So, and unfortunately, I agree. A La Nina winter would typically be hard to get rainfall in here, but it's just not good. That we're starting things off prior to heading into a La Nina dry season. So it's a good thing that there are mitigation efforts, and I'm sure that they're going to be working around the clock. Those controlled burns that the state does, very helpful. Things like that to do their best to get rid of all of the brush that may have grown. So that's going to be critical and key here as we get deeper into winter and then get into wildfire season in the spring. That's certainly going to be on top of mind. But again, that's where I wish that the YouTube people, the Facebook social media people would have been right, because if something were to lift up here, it's not going to be strong. It get beat to all you know what by the time it got here by wind shear, and it would give us a nice dose of rain, which most of Central Florida can use. So that would be welcomed. Never want to wish a tropical system. We could take a weak one. We could take a depression or a storm. It's not coming, but we could take the rainfall, and then it gets on out of here. No, Zachary, I actually think it's going to be worse. I think it's going to be worse. I think our best shot for cool snaps and rainfall, and I use best loosely, is the first half of winter. I think the second half of winter is a runaway blowtorch, and we get into full La Nina mode, and we keep things bone dry. So I hope that's wrong. I hope that is wrong, but it does look like December, or we're basically in December. February, March, April look very dry. And we could take a look at some of those climate models if you want. Not this Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, but next Thursday. What is that? So we're planning out the December show here. The December shows. Excuse me, my voice. I gotta get some tea, get some honey or something. All right. December 1st is gonna be. We're gonna put a bow on hurricane season. Go over the numbers. Go over our hot zone forecast. Well, my hot zone forecast. We'll take a look at how bad or good that was, and look at the Hurricane Center numbers. We'll do all that. That's going to be on December 1st. And then on December 27th, December 4th, we're going to look at the drought extensively, since Thursday's Thanksgiving. We'll have 2 drought monitors to see just how crazy this is getting in the western and northern half of Florida. Alrighty, guys, I have to split. Got to get ready for the 10 o'clock news. Thank you a ton for being here. Thank you for listening to my rants. Jennifer says that it has been foggy. 'Tis the season for that as we kind of cool things down. We've had high pressure overhead, the clear skies, calm winds, perfect ingredients for that fog to develop. Plus, we have the moisture from the ocean nearby to all of that, just kind of contributing to getting us into fog season, if you will. So be on the lookout for that over the next several mornings. It'll be different on Thursday because the cold front's going to stir some things up a little bit. That should prevent widespread fog from developing anyway. But anyway, I got to get ready for the 10 o'clock news. More on the Central Florida Thanksgiving forecast. We're going to break that down coming up tonight at 10. If you're watching on News 6 Plus, keep it parked right there in the chair. We'll see you in a few minutes. Right here, News 6 at 10, and then right back on the traditional TV side, News 6 at 11 in the greater Central Florida area. Again, News 6 Plus, it's free to download, and you can watch it from anywhere in the state of Florida, anywhere in the world. Download it for free. There's also some cool tropical stuff, which you can use for 6 days, because what? Another storm is not happening. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate you. See you tomorrow, 9:30. Better yet, a couple of minutes, News 6 Plus.